Hello YouTube, Kentucky Snuff here with World of Snuff Episode 3, Part 2, discussing the different types of snuff in an opinionated fashion. There are facts spread out between this, but a lot of it's opinion. Um, Joining me once again we have from Minnesota, the Dank Basement, Paul Schaubetter, and somewhere deep in the woods at Boulder Creek, California, lives a savage beast who goes by the name Jake Jennings.
That's the best description I've heard so far.
So,
savage beast. Yeah.
So we left off talking about different types. A couple that we didn't get into were florals and SPs. So we're going to go ahead and knock out florals because that's going to take only a couple of minutes. I don't have much for that.
Oh, you think so, huh?
I think so because I'm not a floral guy. They're nice. They can relax you. But for me...
You're a Sugan Saga guy.
Hey, I like that, but whatever. Most florals give me a headache. Most florals.
Stuff that you discarded accidentally went through the wash or something, as I recall, was Toke Rose.
No, what happened to Toke Rose is I left it in my car and it was 90 degrees out and it was in there for a few days, so it ruined it.
Ah.
It just ended up having this
I was misinformed then.
Or you just...
But no, when you talk about the florals, you have the simple florals like the Wilson's Carnation and Wallflower.
Bean Swift Carnation, Bean Swift Jasmine, Bean Swift Lavender.
Toke Lavender, Toke Violet, McChrystal's Violet. So there's a wide variety. But then you also have the complex Indian florals, and we haven't even really talked much about Indian snuffs yet either. And the Freiburg and Trayers. A lot of them are multi-layered, multifarious florals. So you can't really ignore them if you're a serious snuff taker, right?
I mean, I guess from your standpoint, okay, I can see it. It's just, out of all the florals I've had more bad experiences than I have good experience. So I guess I just I hold a grudge, so to speak.
The one nice thing about florals, especially like the Bean Swift, where it's like just plain scented or floral, like carnation or jasmine, just single flavors. It helps you be able to pick out different scents out of different snuffs because you build a database of different stuff. So you can say, okay, that's a carnation. So then when you go and do a more complex floral like an F&T, you can be like, oh, I taste carnation in there because I remember carnation from Dean Swift. So it kind of works like that.
Right.
All right. And then let's talk briefly about the wide variety of Indian florals. We're here with Michael, Kentucky Snuff, and Jake, Happy Smoking 100. There's the Indians are often based very heavily on florals too, and some of our favorite snuffs don't identify myself as a floral guy either. Some of my favorite snuffs are some of the Indian snuffs, such as the Kailash and the Anarkali, which is a rose snuff, the Ganga, a rose, the Kamal from Dalakia, a rose with white musk. So these florals do have their place as well.
Right.
I'd say one of my favorite florals has to be F&T Bureau.
That's too... Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Paul. You were on the verge of something important, I can tell.
No, it's bureau is exactly that. You have a bureau, which is a bunch of drawers, and there's a different snuff in every drawer, and eventually your whole bedroom or office starts to smell like the mixture of all those snuffs. That's my problem with bureau. That's my problem with Dr. J.R. Justice. These are just reworked snuffs that are simply throwing everything together in the same bin, stirring them up, and seeing what comes out. I'm not a big fan of bureau at all. But that being said, F&T does have some wonderful florals, which I really, really do like, such as the Bordeaux. And I tend to, if I'm going to go for a floral snuff, I will say this. I get your point about the McChrystals, Jake. Dean Swift, where you have the single variety, single aroma of each individual flower. I get that, but if I'm going to pick a floral, I tend to go for bouquets rather than a single flower snuff. So what else can we say about florals? I mean, everybody makes them. Everybody makes them. I think Even the Germans might make one. Can you think of a German floral?
Honestly,
Glacier Breeze. It's more of a menthol though.
No, I don't think they've really got a floral per se. But they've got everything else. All right, that kind of covers the florals. What do you look for though if you are going to smoke? If you're going to sniff a floral, what are you looking for?
For me, because like I said, they give me a headache. First thing I'm going to do when I look into a floral, if I purchase one, I'm going to make sure that I can do a significant amount of it and not get a headache. I don't want to go get a nicotine rush and just end up getting a headache. Although I wouldn't say florals are what you want to go for nicotine, unless you do a lot of it.
Right, and under the allergic sort of symptoms you're describing, that probably for you would not be a good idea. Just to illustrate, just real quickly, I have to tell you, one of the worst summer jobs I ever had was I had to do inventory at a big department store, and they stuck me in a very small storeroom that was full of nothing but bath salts and scented candles. And after 2 or 3 hours of being in that room, I thought I was going to die. I mean, my head has never hurt that bad in my life. I've had hangovers that felt like a lover's caress by comparison. So I get what you're saying about florals having the possibility of giving a headache. I know it's been my case too.
Right.
Oh, okay. I'm looking for something to snuff, gentlemen, but let's talk. Let's go to the next genre because I think we've kind of covered florals pretty much. If you had a favorite floral, though, it might be a good time to pick it. Mine would be the McChrystal's Violet. I absolutely love it. If I'm going for a single floral, that's the one I'm going for. What about you, Jake? Okay, Jake is in the bathroom.
I'm back. I was done with my dawdle. Yeah, Paul, I agree with you more. The violet is just an amazing stuff. It has a little sweetness to it, but it doesn't hinder the floral scent. It just kind of, they work in cohesion. But it's an amazing stuff.
Yeah, I agree. But aside from the violet, you also mentioned the F&T Bureau. Any other florals capture your fantasy, Jake?
I think Garth Hogarth Rose.
The English Rose.
That's a real pleasant one. I still also enjoy.
And incidentally, that is the official snuff of the British Parliament. Just so you know.
This is just. I also like Makuba.
Yeah, for a nice rose scented snuff. I'm sorry, Betsy's calling me. What, Betsy?
Cricket.
Yeah, nobody's on the screen though because we're just doing a voice chat. Betsy was worried that she stuck her face into the video, but she didn't, right? All right, let's talk a little bit about Sheffield Pride SP snuffs. Probably the oldest style of snuff introduced to Europe other than the rosewood bowl snuff of the Brazilian Indians. It was hijacked by English pirates who took it away from the Spanish Armada and Spanish merchant ships and brought it to England. It was distributed to individual soldiers instead of coin or some other form of payment. So a lot of snuff with packed in barrels marked SP made it to all corners of the British Isles, and an entire style was born. SP is more about the grind than it is about bergamot scenting, and also the fermentation process of the tobacco, but or curing, I should say, of the tobacco. But most SPs that we like have quite a lot of bergamot in them. I'd like to put in my votes for my favorite SPs, which include the venerable Wilsons of Sherrow Tom Buck, J&H Wilson's Top Mills #1, and Toke SP Extra. But I'm sure you guys have your individual favorites as well. Please go ahead.
Well, for me, I like the first two you mentioned. Well, I like all three, but SP Extra doesn't quite make it into my list. Grand Cairo is another good one. Spanish Gem, even.
Yeah, I guess I'm so busy looking for the bergamot that I forget that SP is really a style of grind and cure more than anything else, and therefore Spanish Gem certainly qualifies, as does Grand Cairo. even though Grand Cairo really doesn't contain any bergamot at all, nor does the Spanish gem.
Right.
Very different experience. Now, some people say that SPs are the oldest, probably the oldest style of snuff, and as you'd expect, there's an awful lot of them to choose from. I've mentioned my 3 favorites. Jake, I know you're a big fan of the SP100.
That I am, but ahead of the S200 has to be Molten's Prince Regent. It's just a marvelous snuff. It's bergamot, it's lemon zest. It's all sorts, it's just magnificence and wonderfulness in a tin. Then my next one has to be S&P 100, which is a damn good stuff. It has the lemon scent in it as well. And then lastly has to be Tom Buck, like you mentioned, Paul. That stuff is good. So that's my
Tom Buck and or Queen's Extra Strong, as they are indeed the same snuff, right?
Depending on who you ask.
No, I think it's a given.
No, what I'm saying is, you know, some people might buy the Tom Buck, some people might buy the Queen's Anne.
Anybody watching this, I will challenge anyone watching this video to do a blind taste test and swear to me that they can tell the difference between the two of them. I bet you they won't be able to.
Right.
Well, maybe have a basil nose like Paul does, that he'd be able to do it. He can do anything.
I don't know, Jake. You have a pretty strong nose. I was telling you that earlier.
Not really.
You actually kind of do. You can make snap judgments like no other person.
Yeah, you do have a good nose, Jake. That's one reason it's fun doing these reviews with you. So let's go over the different styles of snuff again real quick. We haven't even touched on medicateds.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, you're right.
But medicateds are something that deserves mention because if SP is the oldest style, I would guess that medicateds are the second oldest snuff style. Some snuffs were even compounded by pharmacists, including the venerable Ross Hedges L260 that
Delicious.
Everyone loves. And there are lots and lots. Now, not all medicateds contain menthol, although all menthols by default are considered medicateds. So just so we know, if you're talking of medicated, sometimes it will be medicated just with camphor, clove, or other things like that. Eucalyptus, perhaps. A good example is the use of peppermint instead of menthol. Menthol is one of the oils you will find in peppermint, in the peppermint plant. And there are snuffs which use just peppermint as a base that one could consider medicated because they're intended to do something positive for your health. If nothing else, open up a clogged or runny nose. And I don't use a lot of medicateds, but I tell you what, the way I'm feeling right now with this cold in my nose, I'm going to reach for one right now while we're speaking. This is the Wilson's Extra Menthol. It doesn't get much more simple or stronger than this. So strong, in fact, that I made a little bit of mild lemon. And I've got it here in my John Landick official Uncle Squinty. I've got snuff all over the snuff box. I'm going to do a pinch, gentlemen. Pinch whatever you'd like, but I'm going to do a little medicated here.
Well, what I'm going to do, since I have a little free realm to talk about this, I came up with this a few days ago. I call it a double bump, and what you do is you go to do your anatomical snuff box, but instead of doing one bump, you put 2 on there for each nostril. And I've even further increased the, what's the word I'm looking for? The geniusness of this. And, okay, a lot of you people like to mix snuff. Well, if you don't want to waste a lot of snuff doing that, you can put a bump of 2 different snuffs and come up with combinations on your own on just one hit. You don't have to waste a couple of grams of snuff to come up with something that might be good, might be bad. So what I'm doing right now...
That's how wine makers do, wine blenders or whiskey blenders would do the same thing. A couple of drops of each batch in the mouth at the same time to see how they blend, or in the same glass, but always just a little tiny bit. And I think your double bump method, where you have one good-sized bump, one for each nostril, is a great way to blend a couple of different snuffs together to try them, like you say, without wasting a lot. Talking of medicateds, what do you mix your medicateds with?
What's that?
Do you mix your medicateds with anything?
I do
like
not.
to mix it with Psychedelics, for instance, or Delakia White?
I've never mixed any of my medicateds, but a couple of medicateds that I really like, since I haven't said anything about those yet, I like the Venters. I like the Dean Swift Dr. Johnson. Delakia medicated's pretty good as well, although I don't think Jake's a big fan of it.
Of what?
The Delakia medicated.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Let me think of another one. I'm trying to think. I think that's it as far as ones that I'm really a fan of.
My favorites would be the Hedges L260.
I forgot the Hedges.
Yeah, and then that would be followed by 6-Photo 666, simply because it gets me high. It doesn't just have a medicated effect. I actually get stoned from sniffing that. I also really love a lot of the Herschel snuffs. They're, Red Bull is an incredibly good medicated. Ozona President with its camphor and anise. There are so many wonderful mentholized snuffs out there, and a very wide variety of intensity. There's really mild menthols out there too, and I don't typically use them. But lots of choices for medicated. It's almost more than any other variety of snuff. Have either of you ever tried the Dr. Berry from Samuel Gowan?
No, I haven't.
It's one that I want to try. It comes in a couple of different aroma combinations, and I really don't know much about them. So I think Dr. Very, V-E-R-I, Dr. Very. Something that I would like to try very much. Gletcher Prisa, definitely one I'd have to add to that, to the medicated range. Highland Ice.
So what's V-E-I-R?
V-E-R-I, Dr. Very, by Sam Gowan.
I'm gonna load up a nice double bump here of this Old Mill Toast and Jelly and the Old Mill Limoncello, which is a very delicious combination. So it pretty much, to me, it kind of completes the toast and jelly because you got all those nice fruits in there, and then you're adding a little bit of that lemon zest and bitter to it, and it's just delicious.
Yeah, I could get that. Another mix that you came up with that I would like to see you do, and they're almost the same grind, really, when you look at them close, is the honeybee, the Swisher honeybee mixed with the Spanish gem. I thought that was a very inspired mix.
You know, if I could find my honeybee, I would do it, but I can't find my honeybee to save my life. I don't know where it is.
Oh, the sound you just heard was Paul dropping his Star Scotch.
Well, hopefully the lid was on.
Yes, thank God. And these Swisher lids stay on pretty well. I dropped these from a fairly decent height.
You know, we have the berry on Snuff. It's a V-E-R-I, right?
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's not coming up. It says...
It's actually V-E-R-Y.
Oh, is it?
Dr. Very medicated. Very as in very. Not very as in very.
Right, okay.
Is there a Mr. or something in front of it?
Just
Dr.
search Mr. Very.
Search what? Dr. Very?
Dr. period space V-E-R-Y.
I said
Dr.
Mr. for
Very.
some reason. I meant Doctor. My apologies.
Betsy is up to all kinds of shenanigans up in the kitchen. I have no idea what she's doing.
She's plotting against you, Paul.
She's sharpening the knives.
I'm going to do something really stupid. I'm going to do a double bump, but it's going to be a Frankensnuff beyond Frankensnuffs. And I'm probably going to die.
Don't do it.
I'm going to do it right here on camera while I'm still running.
Don't do it. What are you mixing?
I'm going to take the extra crumbs of comfort, I mean, not comes of comfort. Sorry, ladies. And on the other nostril, I'm going to do chili chocolate because I'm feeling pretty daring right now.
That is the worst. Well, no, chocolate and mint go together. If there was any chocolate in the chili chocolate.
If I can get the chili chocolate open.
It's rusted shut. It's welded and shut. The demons have used their fiery fingertips to weld the can shut.
Okay, we'll do a different weird combination here. We'll do the extra crumbs of comfort with glassed rum special for no other reason.
Ooh, that's going to be disgusting.
Yes, it is, and I'm going to do it live. Preparing my delicious.
I do love cello.
All right, we're about to make history here as the dumbest snuffing decision ever made, besides throwing out snuff.
Stuffy wins that one with vodka, white, and Bohica.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but that wouldn't
cello.
necessarily be disgusting. More as just
No, and I'm not
painful.
going for disgusting here either. But what I'm doing is I've got my honeybee here, and I'm going to put a bump of the honeybee in my anatomical crotch box. And then I'm going to take some limoncello and put it right next to it. And that's my mix. Let's try this.
Oh god, that was nasty. Never again.
Oh, too sweet, cloying. Very bad call.
Well,
Very bad call. Cloyingly sweet. I'm going to gag. Ugh.
well, I think we've.
I haven't had this much sweet stuff up my nose since surprise night.
All right, fellas. Well, I think this is a nice place to end it. We're running at 21 and a half minutes.
Damn.
Good lordy. Well, thanks everybody for listening to us. Remember, enjoy the many different kinds of toasts and SPs and scotches and plains and medicateds and Indians and, well, the list goes on and on. From the Dank Basement, this is Paul along with...
Jake.
Along with...
Oh, gee.
How
Jake.
anticlimactic. You're supposed to say the Savage Beast, Jake Jennings.
The Savage Beast, Jake Jens. There we go.
You got to be ferocious with
let's
it.
try that again. Let's try that again. From the Dank Basement, this is your Uncle Squinty Paul along with...
Jake from the Woodlands.
Yes.
Fuck. Savage Beast.
Well, thanks for playing, Jake. And this is Kentucky Snuff.
See, I play with a full deck of cards.
You know, I misheard what you said. I'm just gonna say that. But anyways,
I play with a full deck of cards.
thank you for
Yeah, you
watching.
just shuffle